King Latinus, an old man now, ruled over fields and tranquil towns in long-lasting peace. He was the son of Faunus and Marica, a Laurentian nymph. So we have been told. And Faunus's father was Picus, he who calls you, Saturn, parent. You are the earliest author of that line. The edicts of the gods had left Latinus no male descent, for as his son grew up, he was cut off in early youth. One daughter was all he had as heir for house and holdings, and she was ripe now, ready for a husband. Her years were full for marriage. Many wooed her from all Ausonia, wide Latium. And Turnus, handsomest above all others, had wooed her too. He had mighty grandfathers and great-grandfathers, and Latinus's royal wife wished to see him as her son-in-law. But in that wedding's way there stand the omens of gods with many sinister alarms. For in the inner courtyard of the palace there stood a laurel tree with sacred leaves, preserved with reverence for many years. They say that it was found by King Latinus himself when he built his first fortresses, and he made it holy to Apollo. From it he gave the colonists their name, Laurentians. At that laurel's crown, how strange to tell, a thick and sudden swarm of bees, borne shrill across the liquid air, had settled. They twined their feet and hung from leafy branches. At once the prophet cried, "In that direction from which the swarm has come, I see a stranger approaching and an army nearing us. I see them reach the palace, see them ruling in our high citadel." More, while the virgin Lavinia with pure and fragrant torches kindled the altars, standing by her father, she seemed, too terrible, to catch that fire in her long tresses. All her ornaments were burning in that crackling blaze, and burning, her queenly hair, her crown set off with jewels. Then wrapped in smoke and yellow light, she scattered her flames throughout the palace. This indeed was taken as a sign of fear and wonder. They sang she would be glorious in fame and fate, but bring great war to her own people. Much troubled by these signs, Latinus visits the oracle of Faunus, of his fate-foretelling father. He consults the groves of high Albunia. Deepest of forests, it echoes with a holy fountain, breathing a savage stench and darkness. Here the tribes of Italy and all Oenotria seek answers in uncertainty. And here the priest would bring his gifts, then lie along the outspread hides of slaughtered sheep, beneath the silent night, asking for sleep, and see so many phantoms hovering strangely, and hear various voices, and enjoy the conversation of the gods, and speak to Acheron in deep Avernus. Father Latinus also came here, seeking answers. He sacrificed 100 woolly sheep as due, then rested on their hides and fleece. A sudden voice was sent from that thick forest. "Oh, do not seek, my son, to join your daughter in marriage to a Latin. Do not trust the readied wedding bed. For strangers come as sons-in-law. Their blood will raise our name above the stars, and their sons' sons will see all things obedient at their feet, wherever the circling sun looks on both sides of ocean." Latinus does not keep within himself these answers told him by his father Faunus, these warnings given under silent night. But racing wide across Ausonia's cities, swift rumor had already carried them, just at the time the Trojan crewmen fastened their fleet along the grassy river bank. Aeneas, his chief captains, and the handsome Iülus rest beneath the tall tree's branches as they make ready for a feast with cakes of wheat set out along the grass, for so had Jove himself inspired them. And these they use as platters, heaped with country fruits. And here it happened, when their scanty food was done, that, hungry still, they turned upon the thin cakes with their teeth. They dared profane and crack and gnaw the faded circles of their crusts with hand and jaw. They did not spare the quartered surfaces of their flat loaves. "We have consumed our tables after all," Iülus laughed, and said no more. His words began to bring an end to Trojan trials. As they first fell from Iülus' lips, Aeneas caught them and stopped his son's continuing. He was astounded by the will of heaven. He quickly cries, "Welcome, my promised land! I hail the faithful household gods of Troy. This is our home and country. For my father Anchises, now I can remember, left such secrets of the fates to me, saying, 'My son, when you are carried overseas to stranger shores, and when, your food consumed, your hunger forces you to eat your tables, remember in your weariness to hope for homes, to set your hands to building dwellings and raising walls around them.'" And this was the hunger that he had foretold. This was the final trial to end our sorrows. Come, and with the sun's first light let us explore in different directions from this harbor, and gladly, what these lands are, who lives here, and where their city lies. Now let us pour our cups to Jupiter, entreat my father Anchises, set our wine back on the tables. Then, having spoken so, Aeneas next binds up his temples with a leafy branch, entreats the genius of the place and earth, the first of gods, the nymphs and rivers still unknown, and then he prays to night, the signs that rise by night, and Jove of Ida and the Phrygian mother, each in order. Then he calls on both his parents, one in heaven and one in Erebus. When this was done, the all-able father thundered 3 times from the clear sky overhead. From the high air, with his own hand he brandished, plainly showed, a cloud that glowed with shafts of light and gold. Then through the Trojan squadron suddenly this rumor runs, the day has come when they must build their promised walls. In eagerness they feast again, made glad by that great omen. They set the bowls and crown the wine with garlands.